You're listening to a Soul One podcast.
All right, it's kick off the show with a rant kind of week for me.
Well, let me guess. It's because you teased to me the two things we're going to talk about this week.
Mhm.
So it's a 50-50 chance of what you're going to rant about. Unless you're going to rant about both.
I'm going to definitely rant about both. It's one of them is a harder. I don't even know how I feel about it. To be honest, like I'm still trying to rate it in my head. You know, like I'm still
Okay, so
still
I
trying to
think
get
you're
it.
going to kick it off with the trailer that you watched.
Yes, that's right.
There you go. Okay.
I'm going to kick things off with the trailer of Project Hail Mary, which any listener of this show knows that it's my favorite book. Has just been released. It came out last week, well, as we know, I was not happy with the casting of Mr. Ryan Gosling. Hashtag not my Ryland Grace. But this is our first trailer. Lord and Miller are the directors, and they did the Spider-Verse movies and 21 Jump Street, and a bunch of films. Like, they've got a good record, and I've liked a lot of their movies.
Good repertoire.
Yes, and Andy Weir is a great writer, and the same Drew Goddard, who adapted The Martian to a movie, adapted this one. So
Is it going to be a comedy?
It has a lot of comedy in it.
Okay.
Similar to kind of The Martian, where there's this overtone of a disaster happening, but then the writing around it is comedic. Like,
Right.
There's quite a bit of. So yes, there is a lot of comedy in it.
So I understand why they cast, even though I know you don't love Ryan Gosling. You're the only Canadian who doesn't like him. Based on what you're describing, to me, it makes sense they cast Ryan Gosling. I know you think he's wooden. So go on, please.
Yeah, I do think he's wooden. And so this movie is really interesting because the book it's based on is so dense and there's a lot to it. It's a lot bigger than the book The Martian, that even adapting it into one movie seems kind of
ambitious.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it. And what I really liked about the book was the book stayed on the same trajectory throughout the whole time, but the framing of the story with three pretty massive reveals changed the framework of the story for me three times in a good way. They revealed three pieces of information along the journey of the book that really made the reading experience pretty amazing, because I just didn't know where this was going to go next. The movie spoiled two of the three
in the trailer.
Two of the three things are revealed in the trailer, and there's only one left. And yes, it's also a shocking revelation, like what it is. And I get why of the three they might be like, okay, well, this is the big one anyway. We got to get people in butts and seats. The trailer was, Taylor, a piece of perfect art up until the final 15 seconds of it.
Where they spoiled the two plot points?
Well, one of the plot points was kind of spoiled earlier, but I can let them get away with that one because it is kind of an interesting thing. Basically, like this one I can give away. One of the things that happens in this book is the character does not have a memory and is discovering things about himself as he goes along. He has no idea who he is and what he's doing on this spaceship. And an early reveal is that he's a science teacher at a middle school. So he's not even an astronaut.
Right.
So I understand why
he is the Project Hail Mary.
That's right. And the whole premise of the trailer catches you with him not being this astronaut and him questioning why he's even here and fighting people, all these things. So I get it. I get how they framed the trailer. I get why they had to uncover that. The second thing they did not have to do, because they get to a point in this trailer where there's 15 seconds left in the trailer, and if you had ended it right there, I would have said, I'm now intrigued. Like you've given me enough to be like, okay, I'm kind of interested to see what you're doing here, because that was a pretty solid trailer. And then they ruin it.
Hmm.
It
I wonder if because the story is so dense, they felt like they had to spoil some of the plot points.
maybe. And I think there's always this fear of
The audience is too
the
dumb.
audience. The audience is dumb. They're not going to want to come see this. They're not going to want to engage with it. And I get that to a certain degree, but you have to trust the movie you're making at some point in time. That people are going to come see it, that you're going to be able to promote it. They're like promoting it like you would any Oscar contending film, right? Academy Award nominee Ryan Gosling, like from the writer of The Martian, like they got, it's an interesting, well put together trailer. Sandra Hüller is also in it. She just won for that movie we talked about, The Zone of Interest.
Mm. Yep. The German
She,
actress.
yes, yeah, she's in it as well. So again, you've got like her, and you've got Ryan Gosling. You've got these like hitter award contenders in this movie with a pretty decent trailer. Looked pretty solid. They set up this premise that I thought was pretty interesting, and the way they were setting up is interesting. You have to just trust it.
Here's a question for you, Mike. We've talked about it before that it's like a third party business that puts together trailers,
Yeah,
correct? Like it's
yeah,
not the studio. So does the studio give them like these are the major sweeping arcs of the story, don't reveal them in the trailer?
yeah.
Like could this be
From my
a
understanding, the studio provides them with everything in the
okay.
movie, and
Yeah.
then gives them the rough outline of kind of what they're looking for, and then the company cuts it together. But they have pretty much the whole movie.
And I guess the studio, if they didn't like it, because I'm trying to think like who fumbled the bag on this one. Like, could you blame the third party trailer company? But I'm assuming the studio approves the final
Yeah,
product. So
studio approves the final product. You're often dealing with a marketing company. Yeah, okay, they've seen the movie. They don't know what's a spoiler, what isn't, what you
yeah.
want to keep, what you don't. They just want to sell the movie. And it's a well put together trailer that goes a step too far. Very similar to the Man of Steel trailer or no, the
Mm.
Batman versus Superman trailer, sorry, from way back when,
The
where
first Sinners trailer that you
the
did not
first
watch.
Sinners trailer that I didn't watch, where it's like you're taking the thing that is interesting about this away, and I think that that's a mistake. If someone has not read the book, I wouldn't want them to watch the trailer. I'd want them to go in with less information, because that's what made it so interesting to me. As the book changed a few times, and I got to tell you, right, I don't know how we're going to do this, because it is a big book, but Taylor, this is going to be a book movie club for us. This
Hmm.
is an event film for me. This is going to be a big deal. We'll have it far in advance, and we'll let people know so everyone can find the book. Or if you really want, like, the audiobook is phenomenal. The audiobook
I'll
experience,
do the audiobook.
it's phenomenal. You will not regret that.
Like
There's
how
a
we
ones.
did you listen to the I can't remember. Did you listen to the audiobook of Conclave? I thought that was phenomenal.
Yes, it was Conclave that I did, but I read the one prior, which was Where the Crawdads Sing, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I read that one
yeah,
too.
yeah. Conclave. I went for the audiobook. Yeah,
I'm pro audiobook now. I don't know if I can
I
go back.
some of them I like, and some performances. Like I prefer reading The Martian than the audiobook. No offense, but Will Wheaton from Star Trek
Oh,
did the reading, and he's not very
I
good.
could like
He's not very good. Just
his
doesn't
voice
fit.
could be gritty. I will
Yeah.
that Mike, you bring up a very good point. Uh I've had to turn off audiobooks if I don't like the narrator.
Yes. Yeah. Whereas the narrator of Project Hail Mary is great. A lot of voice work that he does, and there's a certain element to this movie that is enhanced by having audio, and they do a special thing in the audiobook, which is really, really cool. So I do
Hmm.
recommend the audiobook. I think that's a good way to listen to it. But yeah, we'll announce it today that whenever this movie comes out, I think it's next year. So long as we're
Lots of
still
time.
doing this show, we will be doing that. We will be doing this. I think it's March. It's a March movie. Um, So it'll be like one of those coming out of winter big event films.
So
Um,
it's not going to be eligible for the Oscars for like
like
another
six
year
to
and a
eight months.
half.
So yeah, it'll it'll get lost in the shuffle. But
Yeah,
it's
that's
one of the
interesting that they're releasing
yeah.
it
But The
so early in the
Martian
year.
was also released around that time and was nominated a lot.
Is that
So
the one with Matthew McConaughey?
Matt Damon, you're thinking
I'm
Interstellar.
yeah. You know I don't watch space movies. And it's all the same to me.
The Martian
And
and Interstellar are very different movies.
is the Martian the one where he grows stuff on grows
On
plants?
Mars, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then there's
he's stuck
also
on Mars, yeah.
the Sam Rockwell like moon
Oh,
movie.
Moon, yeah.
Yeah,
That's he's on the moon, but on like a
got it.
base. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, I haven't seen any of those.
I mean, they're all very good. They're
You
all different, but they're all very
you
good.
like speculative sci-fi.
That's right.
This is your wheelhouse. If I had to pick a genre to describe you or your interests, it would be a sports movie, like a sports biopic, or speculative sci-fi.
Hmm.
That would have
Yep.
that's how I would describe you.
I think that's accurate. I would say that Interstellar is praised for its scientific accuracy, and so was the book Project Hail Mary. So it is speculative, but I would say it's closer to science than fiction, which is what makes it, I think, so cool. Is that they're still speculating a lot, but
It's
they
based on real
it's
science.
based on real science, which is I think really cool. Like I think it adds an element to do it that way. So yeah, I think it's really interesting to see how they're going to adapt this. But I do think I was kind of on board until a little bit later in the trailer. So I'm still kind of recommending that we check this out. I think we should do this as a book movie club. I think we've got to invite Katie Wilson to join
So
us
maybe
in this endeavor.
she likes a good space movie. Maybe skip the trailer then, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
I would say skip the trailer. Do not if you have not read the book Project Hail Mary, do not watch the trailer and focus on just maybe go read the book if you really want to, or just trust us and just go see it. I do think it will be an interesting movie. I'm really interested to see the adaptation. I thought The Martian was a good adaptation of that book. So
As the same author, right?
exactly, yeah, Andy Weir, same author.
Guess
So
we have a little while to wait.
we do. We have some time to wait. So anyway, that's my rant. I hate when they spoil things. I still am not certain about Ryan Gosling for this role. I don't really see it, but like you can tell he's giving it. You can tell he's doing
He's
something.
gunning for his next Oscar nomination.
Well, I mean, he's definitely doing things. Are they working for me? Not really, but he's doing it. He's giving it a
They should have
shot.
got a Skarsgård.
I could see a Skarsgård in this role. Yeah, I could see a Skarsgård.
Maybe the younger one. The
The
older
youngest.
one, yeah. No,
Yeah, no, the
or
older one's too old.
and he's too good looking. Like he doesn't I don't think he passes as a high school
He's
science
not.
teacher.
I don't think he's the oldest one.
Oh, I'm not talking about the dad. Sorry. It's
Oh,
either
you're not about
Alexander
Stellan Skarsgård.
Skarsgård,
Okay.
Alexander Skarsgård, or Bill. That was the
Or
toss.
Bill. Oh, you're saying
That
or
was
Bill.
the I realized there's like a million. I should have clarified.
There's too many Skarsgårds. You have to be very clear.
The
as to
most-
who you're talking
The
about.
most famous of the two would be I guess that's hard to say
would
because
be
people
would be Alexander. Would you say, or would you say
or his
no?
dad.
Well, I mean, Stellan Skarsgård's been in a million movies.
Yeah, he's
Like,
very famous.
his longevity. I mean, he even recently with the Dune films. I mean, he was.
But I would say Bill the younger.
Is the most famous right now.
No, sorry, what should be
Oh,
cast.
okay.
He-
Okay, you're
he-
saying
I
Bill
believe-
Skarsgård for Project
He
Hail
is
Mary.
a believable science teacher.
Okay, so here's the question: Bill Skarsgård, Stellan Skarsgård, Alexander Skarsgård. Who's the most famous?
Oh, see, that's tough. I would say now. I mean, if you asked 15 years ago when True Blood was on, obviously Alexander Skarsgård.
Skarsgård, yeah, because he was
Hands
on
down.
TV.
But now I think it would be Bill. He's
Because
been
of the It
Yeah.
movies, really, I think,
and Nosferatu.
and Nosferatu. put him kind of on the
He's
map.
a household name.
But I feel like it's the type of thing where if you showed people and like random people a picture, Stellan Skarsgård would get recognized more because he was in Andor, Good Will Hunting, the Dune movies, Pirates of the Caribbean, whereas Bill is covered under makeup all the time. And Alexander
True.
Skarsgård hasn't been on TV for a while. Now he did do very recently a couple movies, like he's done that Viking movie,
and he's in a new TV show,
Hmm.
a murder bot
Yeah.
or something, a robot. He's like an android.
Yeah. TV is kind of a different game
Beast.
because you get a lot of people recognize people from TV. I still think it would be Stellan Skarsgård would get recognized more.
Overall.
Just with he was in Thor, he was in
Mamma
that TV
Mia.
show, Mamma Mia, that Chernobyl show. Like, I just think he's had such a career, and Andor was such a huge popular show too. Like, I think people would recognize, maybe they don't know his name, but they would recognize him from these like popular shows. So I would still say Stellan Skarsgård's the most famous.
There you go.
yeah.
That's fair.
Anyway,
I buy that argument.
I didn't think we'd be talking about the Skarsgårds. I just got our title for our episode though.
and then Maggie Gyllenhaal's husband, Peter Skarsgård, not related. Is his name spelled slightly differently? Do you know who I'm talking about? He was in An Education with Carey Mulligan. He's one of those actors where you might not know his name, but you would recognize his face.
Married to Maggie Gyllenhaal?
Yeah. Maybe it's a different last name, but I feel like it also is
Peter
Sarsgaard.
Not Skarsgård. SARS. Yeah. There's no European K in there.
Got it.
So yeah, Peter Sarsgaard. Oh, I do recognize him.
Yeah, he's got one of those faces. He's in a lot.
He's in a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I do recognize him. I didn't know they were married. Yeah, so he's not. There's only 3 official Skarsgårds who are acting, I believe. Alexander.
And then I think there's like one might be directing, one might be producing. I think a lot of them still work over
like
in
6
Sweden.
of them or something like that.
Yeah, a lot of siblings.
Yeah. Oh, Gustav Skarsgård. You're right. Film director and cinematographer. There you go. Oh, there's a bunch.
Yep.
Oh, there's a million of them. look at all these Skarsgårds.
But I think they're more like, I think they work in their native country, which I think is Sweden or Switzerland.
Well, also, so it looks like, let's just put this conversation to bed here. It looks like he has anywhere between 6 and 7 children.
Good for him.
3 of them are all around the same age of Bill, Alexander, and Gustav, and are all working in the film industry. Then there seems to be a gap, and there's this younger generation of kids that may be his children, or the other ones who are like all under 20. So there's Walter Skarsgård, who is an actor, but you're right, is an actor in Sweden. Elijah Skarsgård, who she's around 30, and also appears to be, is the daughter. Okay, so he's Alexander Skarsgård's sister, so yeah, still same family. Also an actor as well. Sam Skarsgård, who's also an actor, cinematographer, and production manager. And then the last one is Usain Skarsgård, who's only 16 years old. And is also an actor. What is
model?
Yeah, actor model. Yeah, there you go. So they're all in the business, and they range from 16 up to like however old. I guess Alexander's probably the oldest, 48, 16 to 48, and they're all children of Stellan Skarsgård. There are 7 of them.
I think Stellan is, and I could be wrong, but I think he's Swedish acting royalty. So at that point, why not get the whole family involved?
Yeah, apparently they're all
talented.
One daughter and the rest are sons.
Oh, there you go.
Skarsgård family.
Probably all very tall.
Yeah, everyone's like over 6'2". All right, well there you go. That's my Project Hail Mary trailer review plus our ranking of the Skarsgård family. Let us know next week which family you'd like us to rank. This week we've got some movies to review. Taylor, you saw Deep Cover,
Mm-hmm.
Amazon original, and I saw the new Superman movie, which I teased a little bit about last week. Do you want to begin with Deep Cover? I'm a little tired of talking.
Sure. So I was looking for a movie to watch on streaming. I didn't really want to rent anything. George is getting over a really horrible bug, so I thought I need something easy peasy lemon squeezy. And Deep Cover was just recently released. I think like very recently. Okay, release date in the UK June 4th. So relatively new movie, and I think it just came out on Amazon relatively recently as well. It stars, to me, Mike, this is the most random cast, but maybe it's not that random. Bryce Dallas Howard. When was the last time you saw Bryce Dallas Howard in something?
I guess she would have been in the last of the previous Jurassic Park remake films.
Oh,
Jurassic
yeah, yeah,
World.
yeah.
She was in those.
Okay.
She was in all three of them, I
Okay.
think.
Orlando Bloom.
He was
Nick
in that car movie. What's the name of that car movie?
F1.
No, not F1, not the most recent one. The one a couple times ago. The one that was based. Remember that there was that kid who was like a video game.
Oh, yeah,
Based
yeah,
on
yeah,
that
yeah.
that
Was
one.
he what, the
He
coach?
No, he was no. The coach was our favorite David Harbour. No, he played the like marketing spokesperson who put this all
Okay.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that checks
yeah.
out. Okay. And then this guy's face is so recognizable to me. Nick Mohammed.
Nick Mohammed, yes. Nick
He must, I
Mohammed.
don't know if he's been on TV. He looks very familiar to me.
He was in something definitely. Okay, well he's on Ted Lasso. I don't
There,
know if
that's
you.
that's that's what I know him
Yeah,
from. Okay,
yeah.
there you go.
Oh, I know him from The Martian. That's where I know him. Yeah.
Sean Bean is in this movie.
Oh, Sean B.
Ian McShane is in this movie. Patty Considine, Irish last name. I'm mispronouncing that. He has also a very recognizable face. So it's a relatively, like, you'll see lots of recognizable people in this movie. The basic premise of this movie is that Bryce Dallas Howard plays an improv teacher. Orlando Bloom is a washed up actor or a would be actor who thinks that improv is going to help develop his characters. And then Nick Mohammed plays an IT guy who has no social skills and wants to learn soft skills to essentially make friends.
Mm.
And Sean Bean is a police officer and approaches Bryce Dallas Howard saying, I want to hire improv actors to essentially go undercover to do busts or
Mm.
whatever. So very a pretty basic premise. This movie is based in England. It's an English movie. They don't explain why Bryce Dallas Howard is in England, only that her worker's visa is going to expire soon. How do you feel about that, Mike? I do find it a bit odd that that's
Um,
not to make that artistic choice to hire an American actor and not give us a ton of background. Maybe I'm just being nitpicky.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't really bother me yet, but I guess it depends upon how everything else shakes down. Like I mean, I feel like this does happen, so I'm not. Yeah, I don't
Yeah, it's like
know.
it's sure in real life people go to
Yeah,
different countries, but
sure.
like why would an American actor try to make it big in England? And she has like all these
It
English friends
it wouldn't.
that
Yeah,
aren't
it would
actors.
be. It would definitely be not the common route. Yeah.
It almost feels like there was an explanation scene and they cut it because she has this like circle of girlfriends who are all English, all uber successful, and she's this random American improv actor. And it does not explain why they're friends. It's weird.
Hmm.
But and I'm like, oh, maybe they went to school together, but then she wouldn't be on a worker's visa and they're not involved in acting. So, anyways, that's literally me just being nitpicky. I thought it was to me, it was a plot hole, but whatever. So this movie is a action comedy. I actually quite enjoy action comedies. It's not a genre that I actively seek out, but I enjoy an action comedy as much as the next person. And they're typically light fare. Yeah. And this movie was that. It was breezy. I felt it was relatively well written. I thought it was well directed. There were moments where I laughed. It wasn't too overtly crude. Like I think that is the thing about British comedies, that they don't always go for like the low joke, maybe is what
Hmm.
am I describing that
Like
okay?
lowbrow humor kind of thing is what
Yeah,
you're
like
saying.
it's not always, I mean, you certainly there's lowbrow humor in English
Sure.
movies, but I just feel like overall it's a little
There's a
bit more.
there's a sophistication, I'd say,
Yes.
to some of the comedy. Even the sketch comedy from like
Yes.
Britain had more of a like wittiness to it, I would say, than lowbrow. Yeah.
Yes. So that's a good way to describe it. It's witty without taking like cheap shots, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's fair.
My major beef with this movie, I will say I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very enjoyable movie. There were certainly times where I thought it was quite funny. I thought the plot moves along quite well. Um there certainly was there's a twist in the movie that I saw coming from a mile away, and I think most people who watch action comedies will know the trope very quickly as well. But my biggest gripe was I thought that Bryce Dallas Howard, Orlando Bloom, and Nick Mohammed didn't have very good chemistry, which I'm
Mm,
pretty sure is the argument I had the movie I watched. Oh, the Carey Mulligan and Jake Gyllenhaal movie, where I felt
yes.
like the cast was 100% devoid of chemistry.
Yeah.
They all did fine. They all did what they were asked to do, and it was fine. But I just didn't feel like they had great chemistry when they were ensembled together. I don't necessarily think that that's a fault of the actors or even the direction. I think it's just poor casting. People have it or they don't have it, right, Mike? You know this as a director. You can't always make magic, especially comedic magic, happen with
Hmm.
with people,
Oh, I think that's very true. And like you said, especially for comedy, comedic timing is so important. I think some people get it a little more naturally than others. So I agree. I think sometimes there's not much you can do. Like you do the best you can, but you just sometimes it just doesn't work. And I think what you're describing, you can't always just get around it. So it sounds to me like even though individually some of these actors are fine, in together in the context of this particular movie, it clearly didn't work for you.
The premise is that they're kind of an odd group, like they're thrown together. So I appreciate
Hmm.
that, in real life, if three strangers are thrown together, they're not going to immediately have comedic timing in real life. But this isn't real life. This is a
It's a
movie.
movie.
So, like,
Yeah,
I
it's
think of
for
like,
entertainment. I make that point all the time, Taylor, where it's just like this isn't real life, it's a movie. So yes, it's okay to over exaggerate certain things, add certain things to it to make it work, and you want to over dramatize it and you want to add these things. But like you can't just expect, oh well, this it would be really awkward. So let's make it awkward. Well, no, you gotta add something to this to make it less awkward so that the story flows and the characters are likable and you enjoy watching the movie, right? You're
yeah,
supposed to
like
be having a good time.
I want to believe that weirdly Bryce Dallas Howard's character Kat kind of adopted Marlon and Hugh under her wing.
Mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm.
there needs to be almost like an instant friendship. And I think of like the chemistry that Will Ferrell and oh my gosh, the other guy movie. What's
Oh, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. They have amazing comedic chemistry, the
Oh,
two
they
of
do,
them,
yeah,
even
yeah.
though they're typically playing opposites, and there is supposed to be like an awkwardness there. And you think that so Bright in the movie, Bryce Dallas Howard's character, Kat, is supposed to be the improv coach, and then Orlando Bloom's supposed to be a horrible, like he's supposed to be a categorically bad actor. And then Hugh is not an actor and lacks complete social skills.
Mm-hmm,
So um again, like they're polar, they're like complete opposites of each other, right? And so
mm-hmm.
again, like we were saying, in real life, yes, of course it would be awkward and they wouldn't instantly jive, but in a movie, that all of those differences should be played for comedic relief.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that is a fault of the acting, that maybe they just didn't write in enough jokes where they kind of lean into that. But I think more it was just a casting issue,
Right.
because for it wasn't believable to me that they, like if you watch like So I'm gonna go back to Will Ferrell and oh my gosh, I've already forgotten his
Mark
name.
Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg. I don't know about Mark Wahlberg per se, but like that Will Ferrell is doing improvisation
Sure.
throughout that whole movie, and there's so many jokes on the cutting room floor,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Because they're
A
just
second movie's worth,
yeah,
probably.
he has the ability to riff with other actors. I didn't get the sense that these three actors together were riffing together to get like the best content. Like I
Mm,
felt like they were probably relying on the script. I could be wrong. I have no idea what was going on behind the scenes, but Orlando Bloom's not known as a comedic actor.
no.
And I would dare say that Bryce Dallas Howard isn't really I guess she is comedic, but I don't know if she like has a background in improv or like sketch comedy. But anyway, so all that to say, I don't know if I want to say the number one issue was casting. I don't think it was an acting problem. It just felt like it, maybe if the director saw these like three people, they maybe could have written in more jokes to like, but I don't know. I'm going to go back to my original comment, Mike. I don't think you can manufacture chemistry. I don't think you
No.
can do it.
I agree. I don't think you can manufacture it. I do think that as strong actors, you should be able to at least create to a degree the chemistry that you need in order to kind of get it through. Like a lot of times when people look at, oh, this chemistry is bad, it's really just bad acting between the two. But the pairing matters. If the people are not jiving, if they're not working off each other well, it hurts the overall experience of the movie. So yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from there.
But that is me being a little bit nitpicky because, like I said, I found this movie quite enjoyable. This definitely feels like one of those movies that you would have turned on the movie network like 1 o'clock on the Saturday afternoon during the summer
Mm-hmm.
when you have nothing to do and you just
Mm-hmm.
let it play. For that reason, I wouldn't describe this as a movie that like you have to run out and go see right now. But I think it's a very strong stream it. Like you're looking to you're looking for something for 2.5 hour or sorry, it's an hour and 47 minutes. So again, nice tight movie. I don't think there's too many lowbrow jokes. There are a couple swears, but that's kind of par for the course for a British movie. I think this is a movie that you could watch in mixed company and be quite comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't, there's any lewd or suggestive material. So for me, it's a very strong stream it. You could watch it in mixed company. You probably wouldn't want to watch it with children because it is an action comedy, so there is violence. But I think you could definitely watch it teens and upwards. Like you could put
Yeah.
this on with your grandparents, your parents, and your kids, and it would
Yeah.
work fine.
And they'd enjoy it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There you go. A stream it. Um, yeah, I saw Superman this week, and that's the new Superman 2025 from James Gunn, who's now sort of taking over the DC movie universe as they restart everything from their disastrous, past 7 or 8 years, or how long they were trying
Hey,
this.
quick pause, Mike. This reminds
Yeah,
me, talking about
yeah.
disaster.
Hmm.
Did you see the headlines that Ezra Miller was at Cannes? However, I'll say it how us North Americans say it. Cannes, the movie
The
festival.
movie festival? No,
And people are like, why is he invited? So there's a rumor that he's like
really.
making the circuits because he's going to be in a movie next year.
Oh,
So
uh,
speaking of disasters, but yet redeeming yourself.
somehow redeeming. Yeah. I did not hear any of that at all. Um, yeah, it's interesting because again, another Ezra Miller, another connection to DC movies, and all the
Did James Gunn direct the Flash
no,
movies?
no,
Okay.
no. James Gunn did Guardians of the Galaxy for the
Right.
MCU,
Okay.
and then he did one of the suicide, like the most recent Suicide Squad, the rebooted one,
The
kind of
quote
half
unquote
reboot one.
reboot.
Yeah, the one that like people consider the best.
Right.
They
The
he
one without
directed that one.
Jared Leto.
That's right, and that is the one that he directed. So his style is very much that kind of movie: Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad. That's his like bread and butter.
Pop
Weird characters.
splash,
Yes, weird
lots of
characters,
editing.
editing, bright colors, kind of comedy all over the place. And he wrote and directed Superman. Um, as kind of the kickoff movie to this new universe. And this is the one that stars Rachel Brosnahan, who of
Mm-hmm.
course is from Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I'm a big fan. So Nicholas Hoult plays Lex Luthor,
Right.
who we've seen him tons of things, like pretty well known. And of course, Superman is David Corn Sweat.
What?
Uh,
I'm sorry, but
which,
what a name.
yeah, David
Corn
Corn Sweat.
Sweat.
Corn Sweat. Yes, corn that is sweating. David Corn
Sorry, I
Sweat
shouldn't
plays
laugh.
Superman. This movie is not really an origin story because certainly I think most people know Superman's origin to a certain degree, and I think that a lot of they just felt, okay, we can kind of skip over this, but it is Superman early in his time. He's only been Superman for about 3 years. That's how long he's been Superman for. It's about 3 years. He's 30 years old.
It's because he looks very young in the trailers.
Yeah, he's like supposed to be like just turned 30, I believe, from the opening information that was given. And he's been Superman for about 3 years. And basically you're dropped into this movie mid something happening. And it kind of takes off from there. This movie to me definitely felt like there were 2 or 3 movies prior that we just skipped over. And it sort of assumed you knew a lot of things that I think some of which is fair to assume. Others, I did feel as though we missed a movie or two. This is not a first Superman movie. This is, you know who this person is. You know what's going on. We're going to jump in a little bit down the line of the story, but at a kind of crucial moment for this character in a certain degree.
Here's a question for you, Mike. The original Superman movies from the 70s with Christopher
Reeves?
How did they function? I never saw these movies. I just assume like the old superhero stuff based on the comics, like the first iterations of these, they didn't have a lot of prequel either. I just thought they kind of drop you in with the characters. Or do the original ones have a little bit of a...
Yeah, the first Superman movie kind of speeds through it, but essentially shows him crashing on Earth, being found by the Kents, and being raised, and you get some scenes as him as a teenager.
Oh, like a montage.
Yeah, you get a montage, and then it slows down because Jonathan Kent, who's Superman's father, typically dies when he's a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of the catalysts that kicks him off to becoming Superman, is the death of his father. So, and it's also a life lesson where it doesn't matter how fast you run, doesn't matter how strong you are, sometimes you lose. And sometimes,
and this is shown in the original movies from the 70s.
Yeah, the first Superman movie had this in it. Yes.
Got it. Okay. Or if you watched the TV show Smallville, you'd get all.
Or if you watched the TV show Smallville, absolutely. Obviously Smallville did it the best. That's the best, certainly, Clark Kent story that you get, because he's not Superman at that time. He's been Superman for 3 years. Both his parents are still alive. And boy, did they kick up the sort of middle America-ness of his parents with their bits of accents coming through there. This movie suffers from an element that I like to call James Gunn.
But real quick, Mike, did they not do that with the Robert Pattinson Batman movies? We get Robert Pattinson. He's been Batman for like 2 years.
About 2 years. And unless you ask my mom, who says he's an old grizzled Batman for this movie. When she saw the Batman,
she thought
Robert Pattinson.
She thought he was for 40 years.
She was like, "Oh, he's like an older Batman."
This is also the same woman who watched It Chapter 2.
Chapter 2.
That was a great movie.
What a great first movie. Yeah. Robert Pattinson, old Batman. Okay, yes. So it's the similar. So Superman 3 years, Batman 2 years. Yes, but that's not the problem with this movie. Actually, I will say, to the credit to this movie, the Superman character we got in this was way better rendition of Superman that we've seen since probably Christopher Reeves
Okay.
playing him, because and David Cornsweet does a great job. We really get Superman very much the Boy Scout, very much the like. If I see a situation and I can save someone, I save someone. I mean, there's a scene where Superman saves a squirrel in this movie, right? Like it's who you want Superman to be, and his sort of learning the harsh realities of life and him trying to still rise above it with this sort of clean cut gentlemanly fashion. That is what Superman is. And they
Yeah.
got that right.
Okay.
100%. The problem with this movie is David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult, who are kind of the three, basically the main leads that we stick with, they are out acting the script they've been given. They are working so much harder on these characters than the script they're given. The script is not giving them any help whatsoever. This is a poorly, poorly written movie. It is not well constructed. It's over bloated with too much other things. James Gunn focuses on the humor way too much in a way that does not work. This is also a Superman that's a little bit out of our normal way we see Superman. Like we see Superman a lot more grounded. He's kind of in our world, even though it's not because Metropolis and all this stuff. But this is a movie that's very much taking place in a different world, it feels like it's not even remotely close to Earth. Like there's technology that exists that's it basically borderlines more fantasy, if that makes sense. Like it's almost getting the fantastical more so than like a superhero
So is
movie
he
that's
not a
more grounded.
newspaper man?
Oh no, he is. They work for a newspaper, but they have like an online portion of it. Like there's still a newspaper, but there's just
And it takes place in the now, like 2024.
yes, and like technically in the DC, Metropolis is a made up city.
Right.
So but it's technically now, but the technology and everything they're doing is far more advanced than the society
Kind
we
of like
currently live
Black
in.
Panther.
Yeah, not quite that far, but yes, that's on. I would say that's a good comparison. And that's on the right track.
Okay.
Very similar. Even the cities and the constructs, everything like it just looks a little bit different.
Got it.
And I think what they did well was they brought in this bright, colorful, really contrast to what was done last time, and that worked. And the scenes between Lois Lane and Superman are excellent and well done. Nicholas Holt's chewing up the scenes as Lex Luthor. He's given it his all as like an evil, and you hate him. You hate Lex Luthor in this, and that's a credit to like Nicholas Hoult in his performance. So it's really, really well done. There's just too much silliness. It's the best way to describe it. Where it's just a little too much for me. And I think the scenes where they slowed down, there's three in particular, two with Superman and Lois Lane, and one with Superman and his father, that were so well done that it makes me sit here and go, well, so what? You're capable of this? Like you clearly can
It
do this
sounds
properly.
almost like you're describing like Tim Burton era Batman.
I would say Tim Burton era Batman is still more grounded than this movie, and certainly more gritty. This is like Suicide Squad, but you slapped Superman into it.
Okay.
Like it's not, the tone doesn't fit the character that you have. Like you want this character to be something that they're not, and this would have been more interesting as, oh, Superman had his own movie, and then there's this movie where he meets this Justice gang. There's like this Justice Society group that's kind of the prelude
To the Justice League.
to the Justice League, um, and they're kind of silly and wacky, much like the Suicide Squad. Nathan Fillion plays basically the Green Lantern that was always considered the worst, like the biggest jerk Green Lantern. It was who he's playing. And he plays it very, very well. But that almost feels like a completely different movie, and that Superman should have just dropped into this. And there's just too much humor at wrong times. There was humor at times that worked. And I will say, because you brought this up, Taylor, about the fact that Superman has a dog. Everything with the dog actually worked pretty well. Like the way they utilized the dog, the way the dog was put into the plot, the way it worked, like everything there was actually fine, and they got a lot of comedic timing out of the dog. But that was about all they did right with the comedy. Everything else, I don't think worked and was a bit too much. We also got, this is just random, we got a Bradley Cooper cameo as Superman's biological father in really crazy face makeup and a
Well, because he's
prosthetic
an
nose.
alien.
No, he just looks like a human.
But is he not?
He's a Kryptonian, but Kryptonians look like humans.
But they are aliens.
They are aliens from another planet, yes, but they
So
physically look
they
the
just
same.
weirdly put him in a fake nose,
Yeah, just so you couldn't tell it was Bradley Cooper, I guess.
but you knew it was Bradley Cooper.
Oh yeah, it was like, oh, it's Bradley Cooper.
I'm
Like
gonna
it's
say
so obvious.
something. I'm gonna say something as a non-comic book fan. I did grow up, with the original I shouldn't say the original, the animated Batman from the
Oh yeah,
90s,
of
and the
course.
Tim Burton. Like, I'm a child in the 90s, so my touchstone is really like that IP and like the original Spider-Man, that the cartoon from the 60s.
Oh, okay.
I would love to see a DC Universe Justice League a la the Man from Uncle style, like hyper stylized 1960s Cold War Justice League. And Guy Ritchie could direct. I think that would be
I
great.
mean,
I would
you
watch
have
that.
a you have a better chance of getting that with James Gunn than you did with who was previously running this universe,
Well,
because
oh yeah,
James
for
Gunn
sure.
would
Because
fit
they
into
went
that
gritty. They
style.
went way, way gritty and
Hmm.
dark, and the cinematography was really grungy. But don't
Well,
you think?
yeah.
I want to return to, because I think that's what Tim Burton really understood, was
Hmm.
that he
Hmm.
understood the camp of the comics.
Well, and I'll give them credit. The campiness of this movie works. Like when they do the campy stuff, it works. But there's campy, and then there's silly and ridiculous.
Right.
And I think they cross that line way too much. But the camp works. Like again, there's nothing campier, more campy than like Superman, right? It's
And his
like it's the
outfit.
thing. Yeah, well, his outfit, his overall kind of look, and things like it was from I think the Brandon Routh movie Superman Returns they did in like the mid 2000s, where he like saves the airplane, puts it down, he comes in and he says, statistically speaking, flying is still the safest way to travel. Like that's Superman.
Yeah.
Where it's and even like saving the squirrel, that's Superman, right? That's just the way it is. And there's this really great argument that he has with Lois Lane where they're arguing about Superman stepped in and stopped two countries from warring, and she was basically like saying like you did it without the American government permission, and you put us in difficult situation, all these things, and he's saying if I did nothing they would die. Like that's how he sees it.
Yeah, he's
It's
he's
I
black and
saved a
white.
life. Yeah, I saved lives. I don't care about the political strife. I don't care about public opinion. I saved a life.
That's why
There
he's
are
the
lives that,
foil to
that's right.
Batman.
That's why he's the foiled Batman. Exactly. That's why it's perfect. So they got Superman's character right, well cast. They got the actor that works for it. They did everything right except hire the writer director, who is not the writer and director for this kind of movie. He's not. He's not a Superman director. Give him one of these Justice Society movies or weird characters. That's his bread and butter. But he's not a Superman director because he just crosses that line into silly too much. And this is a movie that was so hard for me to rate, Taylor. I didn't know where I was going with this because I enjoyed aspects of it. I didn't enjoy other aspects of it. I was really torn. A lot of people like it because it is very different from what we got before, and it is a vast improvement. And boy, is the acting sharp and great. It definitely saved it from being a skip it for me because the acting is good. There's a lot here. But I have to rate it truthfully to what I feel about the movie. So I have to give this an airplane it. I don't think
Ooh.
it's strong enough even for a stream it. I don't think it's the type of movie where it's like I'm going to revisit it a million times. I think I'd love to see it again just to make sure I understand how I feel about it. But right now I'm giving this movie an airplane it because I think if you're really interested in this movie but you're like a Superman fan, throw it on when you have nothing better to do. Because if you just liked the Superman movies and you just like Superman as a character and aren't like huge into the comic books, you're going to be lost because there's a lot of comic book weird things in here that cross a line that I think comic books get away with that's harder in mainstream movies. So I just can't see like my parents watching this movie and enjoying it. Like it's that kind of thing.
I just have so many in this day and age to screw up writing a franchise, like when we're literally in like the era of franchises. Like you could,
Mm-hmm.
you have a formula.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild to me. And considering that DC, like, film after film after film has been a flop,
Yeah.
that they would fumble so hard on this, um because we also live in a world where, like, if that your movie sucks, you don't have the second movie to fix the mistakes. You know what I
Totally.
mean? Like, so it's what you're describing, the fact that they just kind of like plop you into this universe. It feels like you're like the second or third movie into a
Yeah.
franchise. And it's like, well, you might not get movie number 2 to
Yeah.
go back and fill in the blanks of movie number
Yeah.
1.
Though it did very well at the box
Did
office. So
it?
unfortunately, money talks.
Yep. So
But no,
it will be a
yeah,
franchise
it
then.
will be a franchise. But yeah, I just don't think it lived up to what it could be. And I think that with Superman, there's this struggle to change the character and the tone, where I think this movie also proved that the campiness, the kind of old style, the more classic Superman, maybe even an out of date feeling, it worked. And it worked with this actor who pulled it off and did a great job. Potentially my favorite Superman since Christopher Reeves. So that tells you something right there. There you go. That's Superman 2025. We're going to wrap things up there. Taylor, I don't know what I'm seeing next week, but I will get a chance. I've got a pretty free weekend coming up, so I will go back to the movie theater and try to catch up on some of these summer blockbuster movies. So I might try to catch a movie or two that I missed down the road. So that's kind of on my docket for next week. But I'm really interested in the Fantastic Four, which opens by the time our episode airs next time. So in 2 weeks, I'll probably review Fantastic Four.
I'm really looking forward to Happy Gilmore 2.
Okay.
a direct to Netflix movie. Adam Sandler obviously has this. I shouldn't say obviously. I have no idea, but he must have some sort of deal with Netflix, because I think he now just has only been releasing his movies to Netflix. That movie, I do believe, comes out July 25th. So like you, Mike, you'll probably get that review for me in 2 weeks' time. Again,
Yeah.
child of the 90s, obviously really big into Happy Gilmore. I'll be interested to see. You longtime listeners will know I am always suspicious of these reboots or these revisits or these sequels that are like 30 years later. So we'll see. But I do love myself some Adam Sandler. It'll be a fun trip down memory lane.
Definitely.
But in the meantime, go see some movies.
Thank you for listening to You Had Me at Skip It, a Soul One Arts Inc. podcast. This podcast is produced by Mike Shepard and Austin Spinner Summer. It is a project of Soul One Arts Inc. To learn more about Soul One and all the great work that Soul One is doing in the arts community, especially in film, theater, and other performing arts, visit soul1arts.ca. You can contribute to this podcast by visiting soul1arts.ca and going to the podcast tab. You'll find all the information on You Had Me at Skip It and how you can get your questions read on air each week. Thank you again for listening.